There can be miracles. And then we'll be talking about Pochettino's struggles. If you were Pochettino, what will you do? The first thing he has done though is tell Yao Felix that he doesn't want him. But after that, what else will you do? All right, so before we do all that, Zibby, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room?
All right, it's pretty easy. The WhatsApp number 0809 4440981. You can also tweet at Smooth981. We're streaming live on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Just search for Smooth981 on YouTube and you can catch the live stream and post a comment.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about that, but before that, let's talk about the headlines.
Okay. Flying Eagles hope to soar over a ruthless Argentina. NBA playoffs, Miami Heat beat Boston Celtics 103-84 to reach finals. Wild shock for Medvedev, Djokovic accused of fanning political flames. Roma must fight history to beat favourite Sevilla, says Mourinho. Man City's Guardiola named Premier League Manager of the Year. Maguire has decision to make about future, and this according to Ten Hag. Troubled Chelsea hire Pochettino as new manager. And Juventus seek plea deal over further point deduction.
Yes, so they want to pay money of having point deduction. I don't understand. They caught you for illegal financial dealings. You now decided that in your plea deal you're going to pay money.
Pay with the dirty money.
I don't understand. I don't know who advises this. We'll talk about them when we get to them. But first of all, let's talk about. Oh, I think I woke up wrongly this morning.
Ooh.
Let's talk about
Nigeria and Argentina.
10 p.m.
All right. Tonight. So Nigeria's up against high flyers Argentina in a round of 16 game at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup.
All right. So huge one. I browsed over this on Monday. But let's talk about this today. And so the match takes place by 10 p.m. tonight, and everybody's talking about how big a deal it is. And yet sometimes the favorites from the group stage don't always make it through the knockout stages. They could get to the knockout stages and not have the best of days. Like we'll talk about the people in Boston with Boston Celtics eventually. But yeah, so anything can happen on the day. So the Nigerian team, I would say this, it's not the prettiest team we've seen. It's not the best football that they're playing, but somehow they have the job done. The goalkeeper, Nigeria's goalkeeper, is so cool, and he's making waves at the tournament that he's already signed a new deal for a European club already. So that's how the scouts have rated him that highly. So yes, he will be one of the guys in good position to thwart whatever the Argentines are throwing at us. Like I said, of all the teams at the tournament, the people I know very well, the players I know very well, are Argentine players. That's how spectacular they've been. From Romero, people are calling the little Messi, to Aguirre, to Infantino. Those are the guys for me that have stood out. I don't know any other guys on the Italian team or the Brazil team. Those guys are the guys that are making waves. And so they have a potent team, and going by their history, like I said, they've won this championship 6 times. Nigeria has never won it. They've only played in 2 finals, but they've never won it. So it's a tough one on the head-to-head, and it's a tough one also if you're looking at the form of the teams coming through the group stages. But it's the knockout stages, and if Nigeria defends well and frustrates Argentina, they can just get lucky and get 1 goal on the counter, and that'll be the end of it. So I'd say this: it looks like a tough task. It looks like an impossible task, but it is not. If Nigeria play well on the day, they can knock Argentina out.
All right. I don't know if anyone should really be holding their breath, though. The Miami Heat halted the Boston Celtics' remarkable fight back in the Eastern Conference Finals and clinching the deciding match 103-84 to reach the NBA Finals.
All right. So huge one. Boston Celtics had done the damage. They had done all the work. They came from 3-0 down and got all the way, pushed this fight to game 7. So they survived 2 elimination games. And those 2 elimination games that they survived, they've survived actually 3 elimination games. But 2 of those elimination games came on an away court. And now you come home to Boston Celtics. City was charged. Everybody was ready, waiting for history. And they kind of had the momentum. They get to the NBA Finals, and the first you can also tell it's an ancestral thing, and the first sign that they were going to have a bad day, 26 seconds into the game, like they've jumped off They took the ball
Mm.
26 seconds into the game. Their star man, Jason Tatum, rolls his ankle.
No way.
I, is the craziest thing. He rolls his ankle and immediately it was a nasty one. And I'm waiting to hear what that medical report is going to say because the way he rolled the ankle, there could have been some ligament damage. And immediately you knew it was going to be a bad day because he still managed to get the foul, made one of the free throws, didn't make the second one, but you could tell it was a bad day. He started limping from then on. But
Oh.
unfortunately, he had to play throughout, which made matters worse because Jalen Brown, who is actually supposed to be the second best player on the team, again continued his poor performance in this series because he's had a poor performance all series. Had 8 turnovers by the third quarter, wasn't making buckets, wasn't carrying the team. It was a horrible display on his side. And so because Jason Tatum was short, he was limping, Jalen Brown was turning over the ball, the coach had to make a decision. So he took out Al Horford, who also gives them buckets, and put in Robert, who was good defensively. So it was a question of how many stops can we make as opposed to how many buckets can we make. On the other hand, Miami Heat didn't play the most brilliant basketball I've ever seen, but they did enough to get the job done. And it was tricky. So right now in the NBA, in the 76-year history, no team still has come back from 3-0 down. Miami was trying to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately they haven't. So it's 150 to love games. That
Wow.
nobody had to zero. Let me not use love because that's a tennis statement. But 151 now to zero. No team able to do that. Boston Celtics were the team that was supposed to do it. They had a very horrible night. And here's what was tricky. So Coco Golf was talking about Jimmy Butler yesterday after her match, and she was saying that before the Miami Heat even made it to the playoffs, you have to remember they didn't qualify for the playoffs directly. They had to come in through the play-ins. Before they made it to the playoffs, and Jimmy Butler had told her that when, not if, when they get to the NBA finals,
Mm.
he was going to send her family tickets. They hadn't qualified for the playoffs. In fact, they were not going to qualify for the playoffs, which is why they had to come into the play-ins. They now lost after he made that statement to her. They now lost to the Atlanta Hawks in the first playing games before they eventually won the Chicago Bulls to get into the playoffs. And now, shockingly, they're in the finals. So Jimmy Butler knows.
Wow.
Jimmy Butler saw it, and Jimmy
Octopus
Butler
Jimmy.
knows. Octopus Jimmy.
Wow.
It's the fact that he carried the team. Now, how as big as he has been an influence on the Miami Heat, I think when they eventually gave the MVP of the finals, they gave it to him. Now I understand why he gave it to him. He's the star player there. He's the one that was rallying the troops. Even when everybody was talking after Game 6 that Miami Heat and bottled it, he was like, "Don't worry, we're going to come back and we're going to win that game in Boston." He was the one that gave them confidence and all.
Wow.
But the guy that put in the work on the court throughout these finals was Caleb Martin. So for me, if you ask me who should have been the MVP of the finals, it shouldn't have been Jimmy Butler. As much
Mm.
as he's the star man, as
Right.
much as the person that put in the work was Caleb Martin.
Uh,
So how does a Caleb Martin get rewarded?
isn't that life? The people who do all the hard work never get appreciated.
Just give it
Your
to the
reward is
star
in heaven,
man.
Caleb.
Your reward is really in heaven or in a max contract next season, depending on which one you can push for. All right, let's take the next story.
Daniel Medvedev became the highest ranked player to exit the French Open after losing a marathon encounter against Brazilian qualifier Thiago Santos Wild on a windy Tuesday. Novak Djokovic found himself at the center of yet another political storm.
All right, so let me tell you what happened to Novak Djokovic, which was ridiculous. And this is why I say when you try too hard, you end up doing nonsense. So you know how it is. He's trying. He comes into after he plays his match. He writes. They're supposed to write a message on the camera. So he writes that stop the fighting. Kosovo is the heart of Serbia. Now, if you know where Kosovo is, I don't know how to say it. It's like saying which part of Cameroon is close to Nigeria. It's like saying a place in Central Africa is the heart of Nigeria. I don't know how else to put it. So yes,
Oh, wow. Oh, my
it's one
goodness.
thing to say, you know what, stop the fighting in Kosovo. Their human lives are at stake. It's okay. But when you say Kosovo is the heart of Serbia, I'm just like, how do you? That's reaching a little bit too much. That's trying to do too much. I understand he was trying to push for peace, But he now gets his geography wrong, and it's a political statement, so he now gets
Mm.
everything wrong because Kosovo is trying to fight for their own
What?
independence. So
Oh,
how do you now say
why?
say he messed everything up? So that's a kettle of fish he has to sort out. But like I said, Djokovic is trying so much to look like the humanitarian, and he's just making all the errors all over the place. That's on one part. But let's get back to the tennis that was played yesterday. Oh my God, Sabot Wild was wilding on the day. First of all, everybody knows that Medvedev struggles on clay, and he's come to the French Open and he's lost in the first round 5 times in a row. That one is not a problem. However, this year he's fared better on clay, and especially if you're coming from last week in Rome where he goes all the way to the finals and he wins it. It looked like he had finally unlocked whatever jinx he had against the clay court. Enter French Open. Because of what he'd done just a week before, people were saying, okay, this was going to be a better year for him. And of course, last year he'd gone all the way to, I think, the quarterfinals. Was it last year or 2021? He'd gone all the way to the quarterfinals. So people were like, okay, at least he's going to go far in this tournament. He steps up against this random guy, ranked 172nd in the world. Remember, Medvedev is ranked number 2 in the world. So 170 spots away.
No way.
And you know how they say, he that is down needs fear no fall. Thiago had nothing to prove. He had nothing to defend. So he went at it. But it was not the way it was the way he played. Every point he hit the ball cleanly. His court coverage was amazing. He read Medvedev like an open book. And the only reason Medvedev was able to take this game all the way to the fifth set was because of the quality of player that Medvedev himself is. But Sabot Wild, oh my goodness. The extraordinary, the mindset, the confidence, the belief, everything was working for him on the day. So brilliant display. He was able to knock out the world number 2. That was one. And we thought that was over. Then at night, Gail Monfils came on court. Now, Gail Monfils hasn't played a while. People expect him to have retired. He steps on the court again in Paris Open. First, you have to understand he's a Frenchman and he's playing at Roland Garros, so the crowd is with him. He steps us against an Argentine in Sebastian Baez. I don't pity the Argentine because Nigeria is going to play against Argentina today, and you will see how Argentines are very bad when they're supporting you. They make you feel like a stranger because you are a stranger in their land. So I don't pity him. But he steps up against Gael Monfils, and I kid you not, Gael Monfils was 4-0 down, 4-love down in the final set, in the deciding set. And he was cramping up. So he was limping and he was struggling to even walk. Wow. This guy came from 4-love down in that set, won 4 sets in a row, went on to win the 5th, and then Baez held for his own 5th set, then went on to win his own 6th, and then was able to break Baez. And remember, he was limping. So it's not like he's physically fit in the best athletic. He played an excellent match. At past 11 in the night, I was applauding loudly. I couldn't even sit down to watch the match. I was standing throughout the final set. That's how beautiful Gael Monfils was. So good one. And the Roland Garros on the women's side, as usual, Iga Swiatek struggled a little bit in the first set, but she bagelled again in the second set, so she's through. Sabalenka is also through to the next round. So the big name players are really making it through so far, but we'll wait to see. But so far, the highest seed that has been knocked out is on the men's side, Medvedev.
Oh, sad stuff. You're listening to Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. Stay with us, the show continues.
I think I slept. I don't know how it is, whether it's old age. Because
what part of your back?
Yes, right beside this blade.
Oh wow, sorry.
It's a sharp pain.
Wow. Really? Do you have a hot water bottle?
It's not that kind of pain.
Oh, it's not like, that one.
It's like I tweaked something.
Oh wow.
It wasn't paining me since, so it's just
as you came in?
I think it's when I was sleeping down.
Oh yeah, probably a wrong position.
Yeah, the wrong position.
Try.
Old age is not good.
Old age is good. It's a blessing. Oh,
it's just knowing that we are put it on. Kerry was trying not to let them see. They don't send you.
He was now trying to freshen up his face.
Like it was trying like there's a girl looking at him there. Send you. That's not. Yes, our intern was cleaning his face for Ifu. He said Ifu must see how fine he is. He was freshening up. Is there any lady that is single there? Kerry now why are you running? Don't mind him. He was freshening up his face. He was like, let me come and put on the YouTube for them. But let me make my face fresh so that they'll see me. Yeah, yeah, man.
Kim was like, yeah, yeah.
He was like, yeah, yeah, I'm a fine boy. Nonsense.
Like,
come here, let them see you.
Oh wow.
My goodness.
I'm so hungry. Damn.
I'm so tired.
Ugh. Our needs and wants.
Yesterday, I actually turned off the TV. I said, I'm going to go to bed early. So immediately after this Gamon Fist match, I said, I'm going to go to bed early. I turned off the TV. I went to lie down on my bed. 1, I counted to 10.
Oh my god.
Sleep hadn't come. I turned the other side, I counted to 10 again. Sleep hadn't come. I started watching movies on YouTube. On my phone.
It's so crazy. You're avoiding the TV. You have a better tool right beside you.
So ultimately, I still need sleep.
Oh my goodness.
So I think my body is now in that where it doesn't sleep at night because of the NBA playoffs.
Oh yeah, this is the season. Yeah. And the thing is, to be fair, trying to get back at your circadian rhythm is not easy.
It's not easy. So I have to wait till the playoffs finish. Then when the playoffs finish.
It's like I go and greet those people that used to straighten back.
It's true.
That's chiropractor, you mean, not crypto.
No, you job people.
Oh yeah, by some people they have that gift.
What are we doing with Chiro who?
Chiropractors, I think I'm terrified of chiropractors. But... You're inside the locker room on Smooth 98.1 Tega and Zibby 0809 4440981. That is the WhatsApp number you can send your messages to. Crew says Tega. Go and greet those people that used to straighten back. Chiropractors. Yes. Ernest said, game got me glued since I got back from work. I totally forgot the almost 3-hour traffic and petrol drama. Tega, was I engaged? Your tweet on the match? Okay, I didn't get that, but okay. Let's see. Tayo says, big if for Nigeria under 20, like if I can get to work by 9 in this massive traffic, joined since 6:30.
No. Oh, wow. You're still in traffic. Sorry. Yeah, which I was telling you, I took longer to come. I took about an hour, and I usually take less to come to work. So,
wow.
Sorry. All right, so let's talk about the next story. Sorry, Tayo. Hope we're keeping you company in the traffic.
Yes, indeed. All right, so our next story has to do with most people's favorite manager, Mr. Mo. Now, AS Roma manager Jose Mourinho says all the pressure to win the Europa League final on Wednesday is on Sevilla, with his side having to fight against history to beat the Spaniards in their favorite competition.
Exactly. So this Sevilla team, when it's Europa, they're like 5 and 6.
Oh wow!
Once you say Europa, people just shout Sevilla.
Activate.
You know, I think this is where they killed and buried the hyena in this Europa Champions League, in this Europa League. Anyway, so huge won this night, and the match is tonight. So it's Roma against serial winners of the Europa, Sevilla. And yes, Jose Mourinho is right. It's like the pressure. Everybody would expect Sevilla to win Europa, but unfortunately for Jose Mourinho, people expect him to win every finals he gets into. So as much as the pressure, exactly. So as much as the pressure is on Sevilla, there's also pressure on him in particular. Like people expect that Jose Mourinho can go into a final with an inter-house sport team. They expect him to come out with the trophy. That's what it is. I don't care what you do. As long as it's Jose Mourinho in the final, they expect to come out with the trophy. And so he can't say that the pressure is only on Sevilla. The pressure is also on him. Roma, nobody expects much from them. They're not the best team. You've seen their struggles in the Italian Serie A. I think they're 7th or 6th on the table. That's really their position. That's the quality of the team that they have. That's the quality of their defense. That's the quality of their attackers. That's the quality of their midfield. Yes, they have 1 or 2 brilliant players everywhere, but you need a better team to win, and they don't have that. So what I would say that Jose Mourinho has waved a magic wand to get Roma to the final. What he needs to do is wave that magic wand again to win the cup, because Sevilla are playing better football. Yes, against Real Madrid over the weekend, they struggled a little bit, but in so far in Europa, they've won every fight they've had to win. Sometimes they're pretty, sometimes they were just effective, but they've ultimately gotten here based on what their reputation in this championship. So yes, Jose Mourinho, you two are under pressure. We expect you to win.
Under pressure, Jose.
We
Under
don't care whether
pressure.
it's Roma you're taking or whether it's Manchester City you're taking. You are in the final, Jose Mourinho. We expect that the trophy will be yours. So
Okay. Pep Guardiola was named the League Managers Association and Premier League Manager of the Year yesterday after guiding Manchester City to the Premier League title.
again, another award that I think, shouldn't have gone to him. And people say, oh, well, but he won the league. If I were coaching Man City, me if I win the league. What are you talking about? Look at that team. I would say that there were managers that did things out of beyond expectations, the expectations of their team. So if I were going to pick a manager of the season from the Premier League, I'm probably looking at the likes of the Zibby, who took Brighton, who played took Brighton's team all the way to Europe. I'll also be thinking Aston Villa's Unai Emery. But when you are giving Pep Guardiola, don't get me wrong, he's a genius coach, he's a brilliant coach, and to be able to compete on many fronts and still win titles, win the Premiership title is a huge deal. However, he does have the tools to make it. It's like if we had a cooking competition here and a chef won the competition. And you now say the chef was the best. No, give it to the amateurs, the people that do not have any hope of anything, that have achieved great things. So I think, if you ask me, as brilliant as Pep Guardiola is, as great as he's done to, win the championship back to back, and still be competing in the FA Cup and in the Champions League, as great as that is, he has the tools to execute that kind of result. But some people, like I said, like the Zerbi, did not have the tools. All right, so it's a bit risky for me. Another big news that came in was Premier League Player of the Season and Young Premier League Player of the Season. Erling Haaland just came and took the two. He just said, you know what, people have been saying this English Premier League is competitive. It's competitive. It's not. It's a farmers league. I'm carrying both. And he deserved it. You can't argue with it. You can argue with a man's methods. You can't argue with results. You can't argue that, he only scored goals. Well, goals win matches.
That is true.
All right, so let's take the next story.
Okay, now Manchester United manager Eric Ten Hag says he's happy to have Harry Maguire in the squad, but the centre back would have to make a decision about his future after losing his regular place in the side.
Yeah, so if you're Harry Maguire, you came highly rated. Remember from Leicester City, everybody was like, that time Leicester City won the league. Everybody was just...
Wait, isn't Leicester City relegated now?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Everybody was raiding Leicester City when they won the league. They took Kante, they took Maguire, then Manchester United, like, we have arrived, and then Maguire started Maguiring.
I worry for Maguire's mental
I'm telling you, all the wires in Maguire just went off, and he dropped from being a captain to sitting on the bench, and it can be painful. And so Eric Ten Hag is like, I don't mind having an extra defender anytime I need an extra defender. However, for your sake, I mean, it is a demotion to be out of rotation, especially when you were captain of the side, and and you're still young. So, do you want to stay or do you want to leave? Either way, I'm good. If you leave, I buy another player. If you stay, I use you. But for your sake, you can't stay and then be complaining that you've been treated or you've been disrespected. So that's the decision he's talking about for Harry Maguire. Tough one, if you ask me, for Harry Maguire.
Really?
Who really wants him based on the season that he's had? Which top team would want him based on this season that he's had? I think that's the question he has to answer.
Wow. All right, on to Chelsea. Mauricio Pochettino has been hired as the new Chelsea manager, and the Argentine accepted the daunting task of reviving the troubled Premier League club.
I don't like when you're saying troubled. It's not troubled. Call it with your full chest. It's troubled. All right. So yes, a troubled Chelsea side hiring Pochettino, and the first job he did is it's a tough one. He's going to have to do to decide which players he's going to keep, which players he's going to sell, and if there is any possibility which players he's going to buy. Because I don't think that Chelsea also bought right. There was a lot of wingers, a lot of attacking players, but I'm not sure they bought right defensively and also in the midfield? And those are the questions that Pochettino is going to have to answer. And it's a tough one, especially when you have a dressing room filled with players. You're not going to tell the manager, I want more players. It's like having a wardrobe full of shoes. Not going to tell your mommy, I want more shoes. This shoe doesn't exactly. My mother was saying, wear the black one. It matches every dress. And so that's where his problem may be. So Mauricio Pochettino has a tough task ahead. First of all, they don't have the core of the team. You know, like if you have the core, you can build around that. They don't have that core because of the way their season has gone. Then they have too many players that they have to sell and buy. And sometimes you don't want to sell at a loss because Chelsea paid good money for some of those players.
Shocking.
And those players are not even what, based on this season's performance, what they were paid for. So those are all the decisions that are going to have to come to play. I don't want to be him, and if I were his wife, I would have told him not to take the job.
Oh,
But who
wow.
am I? I'm just Tega from Nigeria.
Gervais will propose a plea bargain with Italy's soccer authorities over a case involving alleged irregularities in its payments of player salaries. And this is according to a source.
All right. So yes, they have looked at the case, but they have not finished looking at it. So the first set was 10-point deduction, but there's still going to be some penalties that are coming. And you guys like, I beg now, I beg,
Have
can
mercy.
we pay? Can we pay fine? And this is where they are now. Caught for financial irregularities and still wanting to pay more money that you don't have. But it's a tough one to be Juve. One of them, one of the most successful clubs, at least locally in Italian Serie A, just going through this problem time and time again. So it's something that they have to sort out, especially with the season that they've had. Yes, they went all the way to the semi-finals of the Europa League, and they, at some point, were vying for Europe, but they didn't get either one. So it's a tough one. Deduct points again. What do you want them to be left with? All right. So, and on that note, we round up all the stories, but let's take your messages one after the other.
All right. Mayowa says, hello, ladies. I'd consider Eddie Howe for the managerial award. He did well.
He did well with Newcastle.
Mourinho against Sevilla is what an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. One must yield. Truly a clash of titans style. They should have given Arteta the title. He acted beyond the expectation of the team only to bottle it. Let him win something for Arsenal.
No, he can't win.
What's going on with Quincy Promes acting like Patrick St. James? Is that
okay? So he's a Dutch player who was caught with heavy amount of cocaine. And first of all, you've forgotten that he also had a stabbing case, a domestic violence case against him.
Is this a sociopath? Wow. Chelsea, after hiring Pochettino, should have a backup coach. There's a reason for this advice. Wow. Charles Chidozie says, no manager would want Maguire based on the past 3 seasons' performances. The man is a serial own goal scorer. And Chiwobi Victor says, I really pity Pochettino with this Chelsea job because he won't end the season with them. While for Borussia Dortmund, they know how to bottle things always. So unfortunately, my Arsenal joined them in their WhatsApp group this season. Hashtag locker room 981.
And on that note, we leave the studio for Zibby. You see how I'm dancing? I'm good to run away from your studio. And you know why.
I do. That's all the time for the locker room, but do stay with us. There's a lot more to come. Lagos Talk starts off in exactly 15 minutes here on the Smooth Breakfast.